This hand is our main, a famous master at that time. He alone weighed the army more than 100 lives. Finally, because of protecting the lady, both he and the enemies fell into the waterfall. After thousands of years, an iceberg suddenly emerged in the heart of the city, beating out none other than him. Our main. As soon as he woke up, he compared the speed with the supercar. The supercar runs out of more than 90 banana trees, but still inhales his smoke. He was ahead of more than a dozen buildings. He was alone with the whole government's army, so much so that the president had to bow his head to welcome him. Here, he learned that some players were not like me. He comes from ancient times, and the underworld also has cultivators, and what he cares most is that the lady he used his whole life to protect thousands of years ago may also be wandering somewhere in this world. The wind is enough, let us thrive. The beginning was the face of a middle-aged uncle who was extremely panicked. What the hell was he doing there? The anxiety of his uncle aimed at a female student wearing a uniform standing outside the bridge railing, where there were dozens of curious people standing. Very dangerous. Quickly down. The sound of the uncle still echoed, yet the female student still did not pay attention. Sweating on her cheeks, she looked down at the immense sea of water below, ignoring his uncle's ear so he would fall down. Think again. Today is a beautiful day to die. Think again. Until now, the female student tiptoed and then told who I said I want to die. Suddenly, the surrounding crowd became noisy. There were people down there. This made the girl feel strange. Capital is the focus of all attention. It seems that at this time, there is something else who lost her aura. Countless people visiting the railing and admiring. It is true that there are real people drifting away. Drifting away. What the hell is happening? Still bewildered, the crowd rushed to the other side. Why were there people in it? Suddenly, the female student blurted out, inside. She bowed down a giant iceberg that gradually appeared. From another perspective, it must be said that it is horrible, like a small mountain, and what makes it fever is in the middle of the iceberg with a shadow, more precisely a long-haired teenager, dressed in an historical style, and martial arts. In another development, unknown time, a person is now being cornered. Behind this person is a towering waterfall, the bubbles below white. This person is a girl, there is no way back. Death, a loud shout rang out. The 5 men dancing and dancing, everyone was 5 weapons. Blocking the other girl was Handbang Vovo, the mysterious young man in the ice block. This is his past. Kang, the sound of metal collision. The 5 weapons of the faces slashed down the sword of martial arts. So strongly, so strong that the ground was cracked. Faced with the face of the killing intent of the mask, a calm voice rang out. Okay, it was a long time, the other martial artist said. 3 days, no, perhaps 4 days ago. Even the smell of blood we could no longer feel. In front of this martial arts is the corpse. It is clear that it is his masterpiece. After saying that, the martial artist swung the sword into a semicircular, shocking and shot, and through the 5 masked men. Duchin also spreads to the 4 sides, blowing away the soil and rock. At the end, when the other 5 men were staggering, Vojia took the position. His hands gripped the sword. He took a light breath, then swung the sword forward. In the distance, a lush forest is towering. In the blink of an eye, the sword from where to hit, slashing the entire trees. This sword of the fake martial arts filled with killing intent, killing all the masked people. Done, Vojia did not turn around, told the girl behind her back. I have killed them behind both. The sunlight gradually appeared, shining down countless corpses in front of you, all of which were victims under the sword of this martial artist. This martial arts, this Kakakao, a total of 300 names, dyed red waterfall with blood of the assassin. A strange voice rang out. Truly amazing. This compliment was sarcasm. The new one was a masked white-haired monster. The mask had only one eye. It is true that the name of the infrastructure, the first swordsman of Kali, this word is about the other martial arts. He is Thich Lu. The new one continues to be calm, but now I see the death is waiting for you. He put his hand in the sword behind his back, then slowly pulled it out. You also know this is the last blow. He pays attention to the black veins that emerge in the hands of Thich Lu. Your body has reached the limit, because he hit the poisonous drama. Unfortunately, just because of a woman that you disregard the whole life, he was sarcasm like Liu to hear, the other girl with tears of tears. The martial artist thought, the lady why cried. This word is like Liu said to his heart. He frowned. His voice said to the masked man, understood, understood. So stop here, not to keep the reaction. The masked person who lowered the launcher, so stop here. Like Liu suddenly threw away the sword. In the heavy heart, did not we promise each other? Why? The name of the mask widened, shocked. Something then, like Liu deliberately suffered. Let the 2 short swords pierce through the shoulder, and then around the head of the mask. He was determined. I would definitely protect her. Thich Li's eyes were no longer entangled. The moment he fell down, fluttering, covering the face of the person he protected, hoping she would be peaceful. No, the other lady cried helplessly, could only look like Liu hugged the mask Dong Quai Vu, together falling into the waterfall. The wooden mask while falling out, liking to be satisfied. I finally saw it. Your face. Behind the mask is a white face. This guy seems to have a close relationship with Thich Lu. He was surprised. You were. Thich Lu's face was filled with doubts about the opponent's identity. The mask name still keeps the attitude indifferent. The answer looks very satisfied. This person likes to know. His name is Ngok Lion. Ngok Lion laughed at this point. So that I was the winner. In the mind of Thich Lu was filled with the question, why are you here? Both of them fall into the water. White foam. The creature in the meteor. An old voice rang out. Back to the present time. Countless people are gathering. Since the back, then this is the first time there is a creature in that ice. The captain is really how the results of the chronic assessment are estimated that from the time of Kao Li, a middle-aged old man, it seems to be the bite of this group, took a sip of coffee and said that perhaps the era of the human being frozen was not far away. His name was Jiang Sangyang, captain of the duels research team, belonging to the secret intelligence department of the president. Because he was still alive, too normal, in front of the whole group, Thich Lu was lying on a large metal bed, wearing a set of hands and feet specialized for those who were confused, and also tied up the limbs. The staff standing next to Young exclaimed, but did not need to be tied up to this extent. I felt that he would not be happy. A Sang Young replied if he looked at the index table. Then he would not say that anymore. His body is far beyond the modern person to the point that it is difficult to consider him as a person like us. A whole team of the year now, studying the biological index of Thich Lu. There are still too many things to decode. The more research, the only results are hard to help. He was a mystery, liking Leo now was still lying there, immobile. After the young boy heard, scratched his head and laughed. I mean, we should cherish him, look at a certain perspective. This may be a gift from the ancestor for posterity. Gift Sang Young seriously consider. He kept leaving silently, of course. Even the president also expected him very much, but the gifts or painting had to open to know. The young man exclaimed, Captain, heaven, Captain. He smiled, perhaps not, or that in the back. A god who had just woke up. Not far away, the scene moved to a bustling, noisy area. A young man's hand, squeezing the plump thighs of a young woman. He let go of the teasing so great, he had to hold this place to drive well. The girl sulked, so he touched another girl's thigh. The boy heard that, so faltering, that is suddenly something soaring across the car left the car, making the couple startled. The young boy was somewhat angry because he was surpassed. What was so loud? Besides, at the traffic light pole, countless people are waiting for signals to cross the street. Everyone is busy with their own work. However, among these, more and more people pay attention, because the strange incident is going on not far away. It was an eccentric dress, using horrific speed, running through the speed of a new sports car. What is the young man seeing and screaming on what? The current car speed is 80 banana trees once an hour, yet still overcome stars, seeing the earphones, not being able to slash the wind. Thich Lu is still continuing, surpassing the sports car of the other couple. He suddenly changed direction. The young boy suddenly had to fight. Just know how to curse the bastard. Had to turn on the turn signal. The sports car goes high speed, suddenly steering, causing countless cars behind the hand to not keep up, so that creating countless collisions. The street suddenly becomes chaotic due to this continuous accident. The driver shouted loudly he was going to go somewhere crazy. The people along the roadside competed to pull out the smartphone out of the way, uploading it. She also opened her mouth at the beginning of the story. Did not believe in her eyes. He was a mutant or anything, or all for the police officers, a mountain of money but little. On the side of Thich Lu, the three-legged, four-legged man ran his life. His mind was like silk, unable to believe what had just happened. This is not a dream. Thousands of questions keep reeling in his head. A strange world. He has never seen it. The how is towering, the person dressed weird, and also holding some technology. If not dreaming, what the devil is here? Suddenly, he remembered something. Lady, that is all that he bothered. Standing, a majestic voice rang out, crossing Thich Lu's thoughts. 3 copied cars blocked right in front of him. Each one, the police officers, forming a fence, preventing people from waiting for people. F for safety. Please continue. Do not gather here. A patrol police hurriedly ran to greet the brothers. We received the news, so coming here. This is not the area where you manage. What are you coming here? The older police. The eyes do not leave the front. Answer, we receive orders from the superior. Without the reason, the order was to arrest the other man. 2 police officers secretly approached Thich Lu. Young police officer, a mouth shaped the other man. Yes, like Liu is now pensive. He remembered that he had fallen into the area with Ngok Lion, obediently followed us. The illusion of Ngok Lion suddenly turned into a police officer, making Thich Lu bewildered. Finally, what the hell was happening? The police continued. If he resisted, both sides were there. Like, Liu, still beautiful, Butter closed his eyes, and at that time, he was sure to finish his life. Feeling like Liu Bei, the two police officers grabbed his hand, preparing to cuffs. No. 8. The Kim police summed up his neck. Clearly, liked Liu to tell himself, if so, only that away. He deduced, remembering a woman next to Ngok Lion. One of her limbs, she is Don Van Hue. The fort is enchanting, controlling the mind of others. Like Liu speaks up, wanna lock me. Thich Liu told himself that he was trapped in the magic. Starting to struggle, he swung his hand, threw two police officers into the air. Seeing a realm, immediately pulled the trigger of the electric gun to die, shooting electricity immediately. The 2 rays of electricity before kissing the person who liked Liu was captured by the guy. He gently used 2 fingers to grip, feeling numb current, likes to ask the air of the air. Surprisingly, a series of other needles came, choking into the back of Thich Liu, transmitting a huge super loud current, causing him to startle the 2 police officers of this electric shooting screen. This worried, guy's crazy, why shoot the whole series? The police Choi, quickly check if he's still breathing. No, then handcuffed. However, like Liu reached back, calmly removed every wire. He stopped because he was still thinking about the thought of not knowing when she had trapped from when. Thich Liu braces himself, jerked the electric gun from the 3 police officers to escape quickly. Thich Liu frustrated, do not think these toys can bind me. In this damn magic, the shockwave threw the police officers towards the car. So strong that they faced the car, bulletproof glass shattered. People witnessed their eyes wide eyes. This is really The police officers were knocked like dolls in front of them. The entire police at the scene was being tried to be beautiful. He told himself how to escape the magic, only one. Finding the key was given into this world. Thinking, from afar 4 whistle cars rushed out, the sound of the loudspeaker echoing, this is the task force. Everyone avoids it, likes to stay silent, focused on observation. This place, no more meaning. Thich Liu did not say no, stomping one. The road surface was cracked. A police car in front of him was thrown backwards. The other cars were enough. Wanting to find that, Thich Liu muttered, we had to go up, think that it was done, like to develop contempt, soaring into the sky. A special police officer poked his head out of the car. Panicked that man was a person or a monster. At the same time, in another place, a middle-aged man faced, what the hell is happening? This person is Jung Min-gu, the bat of the National Intelligence Agency. The other end of the line is Rang. The leader of the duel's research group apologized to him. We were ready, but did not expect everything to be serious like this. Min boils blood, not only the police, but the whole task force also giving up to him. Just like this, the damage will be terrible. That is right, Sang faltered. Now he is definitely a something completely different from us. At this time, Thich Liu was standing on a highly windy place. Anyone who is interested, now is the time to say those words. Are you going to report to the president? Do not be too tense, a calm voice rang from the back seat. This man is holding a cricket, watching the news about the scandal that likes to save, but still calmly, I will be responsible. He smirked anyway. He was just an ancient man of the folk a few hundred years ago. Before the firepower of this era, he also turned off the electricity. At this time, a series of helicopters, motor vehicles, tanks were mobilized. The Ministry of Defense was involved. Is not a star in the sky, the sound of a loud helicopter like thunder. Thich Liu tore the entangled shirt, revealing the 6-pack body, the right standard of Kalei. The back likes to sound footsteps. It turned out that behind now, the special soldier. This is the whole power of the stars, Thich Liu and Gao Nin. If so, he gripped a wooden broom. After that, he broke the broom's head, turned it into a homemade stick, and he still calmly should also integrate a bit. Dog, a gunfire resounded with jarring, his face still cold as money. Hey old man, a voice at his feet. Liu is a bullet hole, still smoking. A special soldier who had just opened his face was called a gun, which made people like you become waste. If he resisted, you only had dead water. He smirked. The people around them laughed and shouted. It was true that there was no way to retreat. However, what was he doing? A person beside him. Because he liked Liu without fear, on the contrary, he raised the wooden stick to the sky. He knew my identity. A question flashed in the head of the task force. Ho, what is this like? Liu closed his eyes, holding a stance. He answered neatly to see who was staggered. First, his movement was as if he was withdrawing his sword, and the special soldier, with instinct, was gradually panicking this feeling of insecurity. He stood in the picture. No, the soldier muttered. What an interesting person. He turned his fear into excitement, raised the gun, ready to spit, then tasted up the bullets, the index finger on the trigger. Preparation, the mysterious man before calling. I will personally act, so he has come, sitting on the helicopter, appearing right on Thich Liu's head. Thich Liu also felt that this man was not a medium. Glancing, the other man stepped down from the helicopter. Min Gu on helicopter frowned, worriedly ordered to keep the distance. Everyone carefully. Sorry for being late, this man said calmly. Leisurely stepped. I am the head of this country, President Kang Jaihan, he declared loudly. The A-shaped army of the O-shaped mouth, the president. The President Jihan ordered it. Thich Lu heard but did not understand anything. Asked the president, the representative of the nation, "You are the king." President Jihan confirmed that it could be considered so. He narrowed his eyes first, apologizing for welcoming him in this way. "Welcome to the future. This is our present, the national Renus," President Jihan explained. He probably had a lot of things to ask. Jihan held out his hand, intended to shake hands. "I will take him to a more appropriate place to talk," he suggested. Thich Lu is still suspicious or a suitable place. Everyone around her breathing, waiting for the next happenings. Thich Lu slowly raised his hand, swelled. Unexpectedly, he swung the stick again, slashed away, and slashed and cut the head of the ill-fated president. Thich Lu coldly said, "It turned out that you were the escape of the magic." Thich Lu confidently in his own judgment. Mingu was threatened to stand. He slashed at the neck of the president. He shouted. The two subordinates also pulled out the gun, ready to discharge bullets. Order. The task force also quickly raised the gun. Suddenly, an arm raised higher to stop firing. The president thought that he had spoke up. "He is okay." President Jihan put his hand on his neck, immediately answered that you saw it. "I was fine." He himself found it difficult to understand what just happened. It felt very clear, and it seemed that he also swung the stick with that intention. Maybe Thich Lu's strong killing intent to Jihan also felt. Just the result was unbelievable. He made a mistake. The truth is that Liu still stands there, does not seem to be surprised by this result. It is not wrong, as Reading thought, likes to answer the president. He glanced at the president. The other name appeared, Jun Un-hee. The image of Ngoklian's subordinates appears in the mind of Thich Lu. She is the greatest mastery of Gajul, but all of this gives a feeling of too fake, likes to save analysis. The president is still bewildered. What he said, I could not hear because of the wind. Seeing the appearance of the president, liking to realize what the foolish figure was, I could not help such a meaningless illusion like that. Thich Lu put his hand to observe, and this feeling gradually gives me a feeling far away from an illusion, just like that, likes to recall the entire event since waking up. It is too true. So it likes to save monologues. Tighten Than's fist. He concluded that this must be a real place, then transitioned to the president's safe home. At this time, there is a luxurious party. Some people are polite to say we apologize for this late dinner service. He just naturally only two people on the banquet table. President Jihan and Thich Lu, where I am, like to save the matter. The president explained that he could call it a secret base. We never really used it, but it was perfect for this situation. Try it. All these dishes belong to that modern era. The president introduced. Thich Lu did not seem to care much, answered that I thought it was not too different. The president laughed and picked up the piece of meat on Ha, so that he would accept it now, that he was in the future 800 years later. He reminded Thich Lu to a certain extent. Thich Lu answered. The president narrowed his eyes, very happy to hear that. He must have realized he moved so thanks to modern medicine technology. Hearing that, Thich Lu looked at his body. Such something can be said to be unimaginable at that time. Right? Now he was living because he was in modern times. The president's words like to recall that he had previously been poisoned, attacked by Ngoklian. So in other words, Thich Lu slowly said. Gajul collapsed, the words of Thich Lu mixed with sadness, eyes filled with loss. I can't say how I understand how he feels, but do not worry too much, like to pick up a piece of vegetables, then reaching out to put in the bowl of Thich Lu. He said I would provide widely support so he could adapt to this place. In return, going around, the president finally entered the main topic. Can I request your cooperation? He suggested that the cooperation, liking to ask again. The president immediately explained that I did not require any difficulties. He turned to call Mingu's director Nick. Mingu answered obedience to the president. Understanding the meaning, Mingu turned on the TV. At this time, it was showing the news about Thich Lu. It was the same as the movie. He was super strong, running across the cars and even flew away. Well, there was rumors that he was the person inside the Han River Glacial. The one on the news was a Kung Ti, who appeared at the scene when he liked to be beautiful and beautiful. Yes, it is a hot topic recently. The scene returns to the editor. At this time, all over Sesan is stirring because of this incident. The Han River and the mysterious person inside it is said to be the same person as the person who caused a disturbance in the city. Even there was rumors that he called him Superman. But unexpectedly, it was all announced that it was only part of the prior film trick. The production team pursued the reality of the statement. On the TV is a scene of a film crew with an actor who is wearing like Liu, and in his hand is a wig. What they are saying, some people wonder. The president explained that they were saying all this was just a stage play, because we could not let the public know the truth. They are not ready to know about a creature like him. He slowly appeared behind Thich Lu, a frozen person. He used it to mention him. People can survive for centuries in the future. Not only a prolonged life, this can even lead to extraordinary progress. The president begins to analyze. Many countries have tried to achieve it, but so far only failed. This is because of the most important factor, defrosting technology, missing. But the key to that appeared before our eyes. The president standing in front of Thich Lu, his face could not hide his happiness. Others of the intelligence department, everyone was tense. The president continued, I would be honest with him, because our country and descendants collaborate with my analysis, do not want likes to interrupt the president. The whole room was silent, without a sound. Thich Lu gradually stepped out of the door. He thought it would be effective, like to slowly open the door, that I would live like that in this era, he coldly replied. Behind the door are two more officials, higher than liking to save one head. The president seems to have anticipated this result, calmly saying so. The two men appear to grab Thich Lu's arms and locked it tightly. Others in the dining room also pointed hunting rifles on Liu. The president said that it is not necessary to act friendly anymore. Magic and Goy all started shooting. We just made him sleepy, so the hunting guns contained anesthesia, now closed his back like Liu. The person who stood near Liu observed and assessed him could fight the police gun, but he could not resist the compound strong enough to knock down an elephant. The idea ended. This person suddenly widened his eyes. The contact point of anesthetic needles begins to glow. What is it? Looking closely, what they hit is a thin, transparent film. This person was shocked to block them. The membrane disappears. The entire pile of needles falls on the ground. From this membrane began to radiate an unbelievable power. This is internal force. Thich Lu just swung his hand, through two guys holding his hand. Okay, Thich Lu said, before the surprise of all others present here. Now I am going. Thich Lu glanced. Although this is dangerous, but he did not let us choose any other options. The president still tried to make a claim. Increased strength, he ordered. The sound of electric batons rang out. At all costs, not to let him go. Receive orders. Safe home garden was filled with electric batons. Pointed at Thich Lu. The first person rushed up, stabbed directly into Thich Lu's head, but he dodged gently. This person is difficult to face him, so he should cooperate. The moment he touched him, he would experience death. He threatened. Others also became more serious after seeing Thich Lu's body. When another person approached from behind, stabbed straight between Thich Lu's neck. This person reminds this 10 times worse than that gun. Yet, Thich Lu's shadow gradually dissipated. This is the image. All felt wrong, simultaneously rushed to shout, damn, just once. This could not be real. Right? We only need to hit once, all agree. But no one can touch Liu. All what they see is just his fake. This is not the speed that humans can reach. Indeed, there are countless likes to appear, or rather countless of his fuzzy copies. Just like that, in the end, maybe they had to accept a truth. Against an opponent even did not even bother to take out the trick. Like Liu so coldly walked through the crowd. This awakening makes all green face. Even if there is a good weapon, all we can do is stand there, watch him leave like Liu and have reached the gate, preparing to unlock. Not long after that, the president sat in the office, his hands on the temple, lamented, I could not believe that we really lost him. Mingu standing next to saying using force to catch him is absolutely impossible. We have taken into account other options. By the way, he has determined his position yet. The president asked. Min Tam sweats he is not ordinary, highly likely. We will have to perform a large search. At this moment, the door of the room was open. An employee went into the report. We found his position. Min Sudden, where he was. He immediately asked. The staff seemed a bit awkward. We did not know the reason, but he was in a very easy-to-detect position. The scene moved to the city, which was filled with skyscrapers. The place like Liu is standing is the top of the highest building. At this time, Thich Lu's face did not show any emotions. He was accepting that this place was real. That is right. As president, he is also hearing a bad news, and just now, he jumped down. Thich Lu jumped down from the building, sowing himself suicide. For him, this reality is meaningless. Thich Lu's eyes were empty. In this reality, he had no purpose. The moment of thousands of pounds hanging hair. In Thich Lu's mind showed the image of the lady he always respected. However, he could not remember her face. All were only half-hearted memories. His heart seemed to be broken, and there were no people to protect. Next is the image of his life's enemy, Gok Lion. Now the one I have to kill does not exist. Thich Lu feels like he buried his own treasure and gave up everything. In such reality, I have no reason to survive. He opened his eyes to look at the night sky, where a helicopter appeared. He told himself now, I understood. I should have died at that time. When he was converted to his enemies, no, I like Liu Su, I am dead then. This is his ending. He indifferently zoomed in far away. So at this time, on the billboard of the opposite building, a familiar face appeared. Thich Lu's eyes light up. This face, the typical mole under the left eye, this white hair. Suddenly, the fire of hatred rising again, burning the heart of Thich Lu. Ingok Lion that faces him. In a moment, all memories began to rush back. The bodyguard Thich Lu, you protected her, Ngok Lion said. Like look, a pair of tears appear. It was the eyes of the family members who liked Liu. They were slaughtering each other. The members of your family were being swallowed up by illusion and killing each other. Finally, the moon has risen. Standing in front of Ngok Lion is a subordinates who know how to use magic. All of this morning incident is her masterpiece. Ngok Lion has two arms out, laughing loudly. It is the beginning of the destruction. Thich Lu can only glare at his enemies, complacent. struggling until the end, because we will crush everything at our feet, he declared. The source of everything, he thought back, thinking that the last minute killed that person, yet now that face appears. Is this bastard still living in the future? The important question arises in the heart of Thich Lu. At this moment the ground was very close, the car horn was loud. Thich Lu calmly put his hand downwards. The internal force radiates from the palms of the hand. In the air, the internal force emits a dim light. This internal force creates a pulse. Immediately appears a thrust shot from the palms, so that reduces the acceleration of Thich Lu. He gently set foot on the roof of an architectural court. Continue to observe the billboard in front of him. The billboard has the picture of the enemy, which he can never forget. Thich Lu glared up. Returning to the president's private room, he was now in panic. He jumped down from the roof. The crab hair staff was somewhat worried. How could it happen? The president asked. At least found his body. The employee saw this attitude of the president. The more trembling it also disappeared. The president lost his temper. Stood up. What? The staff continued to report, but fortunately, we found a witness nearby. The president was a bit impatient, so they said. A name was said, Ju Jin-gu. He asked about Ju Jin-gu to talk about this character, Jil-gu. In Korea, no one does not know him, a world-level action movie star. From a young age, he showed good acting skills, shocking the world with risks of life. Since then, he has been noticed by directors in the East and the West and created many hit works. Besides, with the appearance that could cut anyone's heart, he was as famous as the idols. Therefore, his company's stock price was constantly increasing. He was a great star, even increasing our country's position. He could say that was a truly great person. Just now the narrative of a four-eye boy. So why do not you know him? The boy asked the person in front of him. Thich Lu asked again, a great person. The teenager confirmed, so these things were everywhere. He just sighed. He felt lost, listening to the teenage boy in front of him. Thich Lu also had his own assessment. He was far different from this type of person. He deduced because he also existed in this era. So there were two possibilities. He only has the same appearance, or that is the one he knows. He pointed to the billboard. Lead me, in my heart. I hope it is the latter. I had to meet him. Immediately he fisted back slightly into the sign that made the billboard, disturbing the image. We had so many things to say. He could not. The other boy bluntly poured cold water. Anything. Thich Lu was surprised by this answer. The other boy laughed scornfully. Why could he meet a celebrity? And he was also the top star. He thought the protagonist was a mental person. The boy continued, but he could meet him if he went to the airport to wait. But he had to wait there without any plan, waiting leisurely, liking to grind his teeth. The boy cowered, refreshed. Thich Lu suddenly smashed his head into the billboard, breaking it into pieces. He immediately repeated the request. Let us know how to meet him. Immediately, the boy was scared before scared, fell to the ground, cried out a sound. So he immediately turned the car. His voice was stammered. Please forgive me, like Liu repeated to tell me I would not hurt you. The boy heard that it was like drowning with a real pile, but there was no way to see him right away. I saw on the news he had been going abroad for a while. This answer, unexpectedly, was out of Thich Lu's prediction. He was in another country. At the same time, in the country where the Statue of Liberty, where John Gu is working, is the United States. He made me trust. In a solemn scenery, a loud voice rang out, and I believed him. It seemed to be targeting Jiao Gu, who was calmly for dinner in the restaurant. He ignored those words, chopped and brought the piece of meat to his mouth. Dad, black man swinging his hand and punching in Junggu's face. He did not hold back at all. He shot English with Junggu. This place not for the type of eyebrow. Fell quickly, saying and breaking his teeth, shaking the young man in front of him. Behind, the other two men also stood like ready to do salad if necessary. In our ice, in our tape, this guy suddenly stammered, stuttered, seemingly trying to remember something. Next, he turned to the left and asked. I apologized. What was the next sentence? So, this is just a scene in the set. The director saw that the young man was colored, who was dubbed the legend, seemingly dissatisfied. Surely Mr. Du was having difficulty with his filming schedule. The actor's hand has damaged so many scenes, probably deliberately. He even made a very unjust dead, seemingly angry. Seeing Junggu shut up, the colorful guy frowned. He bent his face, saying I could not keep this. James, from now on, please hit the other side. Junggu lifted my head, smiled friendly. If he hit me on this side anymore, I do not think I can say more. Okay, come back, the director spoke up. At this moment, the chain holds the chandelier suddenly broken. The big chandelier kept rushing down the color of the black guy. The incident happened too fast. He could not react, just uttered. The disciple, who doubted Junggu, promptly hugged the black actor, pulled him out of the danger. Junggu's appearance is too unexpected, still reckless. Dusty smoke. The assistants now rushed into the studio. Flabby anything, everyone is okay. We are here. Junggu spoke. He slowly stood up. Others were worried about asking him. He was okay, Lord. Fortunately, we avoid a big accident. Junggu replied. The black actor was still blank, unable to complete. But surely I should go to the hospital. Haha. In fact, Junggu's left arm was injured. A few pieces of broken glass into the flesh. gore looking creepy. Very quickly Jun-gu was carefully bandaged. At this moment, the manager stood beside him, looking surprised that he was really extraordinary. How he thought about saving him by the attorney's attorney like that. Jun-gu looked at his injured arm, answered that I did not know, my body reacted myself. He continued, but I was okay. There were many members of the delegation to visit me, whether to divide this gift to the hospital staff. The other immediately agreed to yes, just do that. So, Jun-gu grabbed the blanket, asked anyway, sorry. The filming schedule was rebelled for me, right. Manager hurriedly waved his hand. Then we were still fortunate that he was not worse. However, acting is not the most important thing. Jun-gu heard that it was so dumb, so what was important? Hamilton faltered then. Jun tamed his face when he heard the news, shocked. What did you say? Return to the president's greenhouse. At this time, the president is preparing to leave somewhere. Before he left, he did not forget to praise the staff very well. Guys, I have a job to go. Goodbye. After that, everyone went home. Suddenly, from the dark corner, a familiar voice resounded that President Jihan startled me waiting for him here. President Jihan realized immediately. The one who appeared was Thich Lu. As expected, he was very wonderful. He was the only one who could freely come in and out. President Jihan praised Liu because he successfully surpassed the entire greenhouse defense system. Seeing that the main character was still alive, the president could not hide his joy. After all, he still looked better like this. Yesterday he really made me scared to death. 9 hours earlier at the president's office, President Jihan was surprised by the appearance of the person in front of him. Thich Liu has returned, accompanied by an extremely important question that the request for my coordination still valid. President Jihan immediately stood up to welcome me, thinking that he would come, but I had a condition. Is he related to this person? The president went straight to the main issue, giving Jun-gu's photo. Thich Liu nodded, so he knew. He picked up the picture and suggested that he could introduce me to someone in another country as quickly as possible. Without having to ask anything, the president celebrated, raised his hand and asked the problem only when he promised to cooperate comprehensively. After saying that, the president suddenly realized something and then pulled his hand back. In the Goryeo dynasty, there was no culture to shake hands. Thich Liu still reached out to catch the president's hand. Obviously, when I can see him return to the president, at this time he is asking the president the problem he cares most. The president asked the opposite, that he wanted to meet him as soon as possible, right? Yes, Thich Liu affirmed. The president was worried that even if he was, the president was very difficult because he was more than 30 million miles away. Come in, the door slowly opened. He is already here. Behind the door is Jun-gu, so unexpected, seeing the person he wanted to find. Suddenly Thich Liu's eyes were filled with killing intent. I was honored to sir, so we met in this situation. Here, the handsome actor smiled industrial smile. Introduced my name as Jun-gu for the main character. He only had a question. You were? The polite president stepped up and shook. Thanks for coming so fast. Nothing, just my schedule has changed. What is wrong with his hand? I have a slight dislocated. Pleased to meet him. A voice interrupted into the conversation of two people. My name is Thich Liu. He actively put his hand out to show goodwill. The name Thich Liu was Jun-gu and two assistants. Jun-gu eagerly, he must be a meritorious person to the country that the president mentioned. Pleased to meet him. I am Jun-gu. I heard that we will appear in a promotional video. I am very honored. I am very honored. Well, yes, get used to it. So let us go to the seat. The president suggested. Yes, sir. Jun-gu broke out because he was unable to withdraw his hand at this time. Thich Liu was using internal strength to hold the actor's hand tightly in front of him. Drilling already. He is really strong, likes exclamation. What is this? I did not feel his gas. Through internal force, Thich Liu discovered Jun-gu's body empty, without any internal force. It was like looking at an empty shell hull. Liking to click his tongue. I am sorry. He pulled his hand back, frustratedly said, in his heart filled with disappointment. A little also did not have. The president hurriedly interfered, destroying the shy atmosphere, so the two of them sat down first. I had to go to the toilet for a while. Just out of the room, Manhwa, director of intelligence department, has come to report to the military waiting for the order to be near. The president responded, to see. Why is this meeting necessary inside the room? The two managers may also get the key first. The excuse to leave us also need to go to the toilet. Jun-gu takes a sip of tea and praises Waho. Tea at home is different. You also try it. He does not have the mind to drink tea. The one looks like this pearl. Feeling like Liu kept frowning and moody, Jun-gu worriedly asked him to feel well. In fact, he was just disappointed, still planning to take a sip of tea. Suddenly Jun-gu changed her voice. The actor suddenly stood up, stopped close to Thich Liu's face, whispered, You are still alive. His face also changes 180 degrees. Wow, he sarcasm. You seem not happy to see me. This immediately made Thich lose killing intent. He said that you think this is fun. It is you, right? Ingok Lion smiled, responded for a long time. Thich Lu, he had completely hid his anger. Where did he find such skill? He came to the future ever since. A series of questions struck in his mind. Ingok Lion gently picked up a cup of tea, reminded that if I killed me here, you would not receive anything. Collect killing intent inside. In fact, Thich Liu is wary of you, have no way to check. The two calmly responded to it seemed that you have not been here for a long time, and you seem to have been here for a long time. Like Liu wondered if you could get the answer from him. Thich Liu tried to ask questions. To the future is your magic game? Huh. Taking a sip of tea, Ingok Lion answered. How can we do that game? No, right away. Like to save the capital, you can guess this answer. I will ask you the last question, so I hope you will answer honestly. He asked the lady here. He just finished his words. Ingok Lion suddenly blankly. Do not speak in such a threatening voice. He changed his voice. You talk about the girl you protect, right? He asked the opposite. I wonder if she is here or no. Ingok Lion smirked, her voice full of mockery. Chong cracked tea table in two attorneys of Thich Lu. Ingok Lion has not yet returned, receiving this trick, just knitting both hands to support. The shock pushed him back. Ngok Lion crashed into the brick wall, dusty smoke. I know, like Liu pointed straight to the enemy. We will find the answer by ourselves. He slowly stood up, his temperament turned, prepared for a blood-dry match. He glared at the opposite side. Strangely, Ngok Lion exclaimed. He crawled up from the large dent on the wall when it was like this. It seems that I can finish himself. Ngok Lion now starts seriously. Well, wait a moment. He raised his hand and said, although you do not seem to care, but do not worry. We will not be bothered. Ngok Lion said a quirky sentence. We have separated the space with illusion. On the outside, it will be like two old friends who are talking about, explaining. He pointed to illusion of Thich Lu and Jin Gu, sitting and chatting happily. Now, after saying Ngok Lion immediately rushed to Thich Lu. Less down, Thich Lu now spoke up. Ngok Lion stopped. You are not Ngok Lion, like to save a pine, juggle in your hand, and say a confusing sentence. Suddenly, what were you talking about? Ngok Lion did not understand. Like Liu not to say no, crushing the pine in hand, grinding his teeth, it seemed, checked for himself to be sure. Oh, the pine shell fell to the ground, like Li to explain that you had concealed your atmosphere very well until now, saying so. But you could not help but reveal the air when protecting yourself. He had that power, and we know that is not the irregular gas of that bastard. When it comes to this, Ngok Lion slowly turned into a girl. He understood. His camouflage was exposed by Thich Lu. The girl curved the corners of her lips, laughing. We did not expect to be discovered so quickly. Quite impressive with awakened man. Thich Lu saw the true shape of the enemy, immediately realized that the status of my day, I did not expect among many people. You were the one who appeared. Junanhe on a rebellious day. On that brink, in Thich Lu's memory, he killed this girl, a sword between her chest, blood sprayed into a stream. Not she was among those who died. He raised his hand. The momentum of the momentum. You made me feel embarrassed. Why she was still alive, like Liu asked herself. He, like a basic villain, began to explain, and how you know about Jianji Ol's existence. Mr. Ngok Lion is an extremely famous character in this world. I am currently disguising him to handle some things because the great plans of Mr. Ngok Lion. Up to now we have to report the daily tasks, and we will definitely add this shocking information. He will be very excited. Say, He has just sealed. I have carefully calculated his strength. He's body illusion. 4 clones are created. Extremely honest. I do not need to loosen vigilance. We will be rewarded if he submitted him to Ngok Lion. She shouted, catching him. Before he could order, a clone was beautifully treated. The stick plugged into the clone, emanating the inner force. Clicking his tongue to radiate so many gases. You are so mouthy, like Lucio. What a fool. It turned out she was not afraid. Even laughing at mocking, she explained that you radiate so many gases. With a new body awakening, it is a one-way ticket to destroy your body indeed. Liking Liu is also starting to tremble. Sweat full of hands. However, he ignored the warning, collecting sticks, continuing to fight. Since ever your standard applied to me, He felt insecure, silently could not be. You are so inanimate, like to save internal power. Swing the sticks, /1 move. Need all the remaining enemies. By this time, He only feared unbelievable. In an instant, the number of clones gradually disappears. She is still hard-mouthed, killing me, as long as she likes to refuse. You definitely died under my hands before, liking to save a strange speculation. That day he began to recall the past. You seriously injured, fell in the abyss. How you tried to travel to the future. I also thought I would die, he recounted. But when we wake up, the world is different from what we know. Waking up after hundreds of years, we cannot understand or know anything. However, we quickly realized that Mr. Ngok Lion took action so we could live in this present. Thich Lu feels that you say that the bastard is here before you. That is right, he said. Mr. Ngok Lion cherishes me. She said. Her hand reached out to the back of the bun, and I will be loyal to the end. She pulled out the brooch, rushed out, stabbed into the eyes of Thich Lu. Right when the tram tree was only a few millimeters away from the eye, it was pierced. It stopped the rumbling. Thich Lu had to be mediocre. He swung the stick up, knocked out Eun-hai flying back like a sandbag. Now she looks ruined. Rhetoric, probably only a little bit over. Thich Lu Tien approached. Sarcastically, you believe that Ngok saved you? Really pitiful. You, what to say? Eun-hai responded. How long have you been here? Like Liu asked. 1 month. Eun-hai answered immediately. Like Liu asked again when your body started to rot. Hearing this, Eun-hai sweats you. What are you saying? Small, like to slash her shoulder, revealed the rotten shoulder. I smelled this rotten smell earlier, like to speak in a contemptuous voice. The trash may have pretended to save you, but in fact he used a technique to push you into the dead, after taking advantage of you as a left item. Eun-hai gritted his teeth. She screamed without any life. Mr. Gok Lion did something like that. I had never heard of that technique. It is not a normal technique, so of course you have never heard of it. It seems that you are really unnecessary in the future. Likes to look at Eun-hai with disdainful gaze. She can only swear in a helpless way. The bastard, think carefully. Why did he hide the truth and make you do a low job like a camouflage? This word makes Eun-hai silent. You are not worth more than that. The reason is, hearing here, Eun-hai seemed to wake up, sink into the illusion, imagine himself sitting among the countless corpses. Suddenly a rotten hand grabbed her arm. This corpse screams in pain, looks straight at Eun-hai with an eye filled with resentment. It seems that this corpse is representing her in the future. My body will continue to rot and I will die. Intelligence is contrasting. Suddenly Eun-hai felt a warm air transmitted to the shoulder blades. Thich Lu looked straight into her eyes. One hand placed on Eun-hai's rotten shoulder blades and transmitted internal strength through which you could prevent your body from rotting. Look carefully to mention, the rotting meat patches in Eun-hai's shoulder blades were detached by the contrast legs. The flesh returns to the pinkish-white color. The skin is rotten but has recovered. Mr. Gok Lion, Eun-hai wondered, really thinking about throwing away himself after taking advantage of stars. Only 2 people can transmit the inner intubation for you here in Ngok Lion. The choice is yours. Likes to continue to spank the psychology. You will choose Ngok Lion, who wants to kill you, or you will choose me, who will save you from that fate. Eun-hai was silent, bowing his face for a long time. She trembled with her hands and pulled the shirt, covering the bare shoulder. Like Liu attentively observed her actions. Next, only see Eun-hai speaking out, I want to live. What do you want me to do? So Eun-hai had a choice. Like Liu satisfied, exhaled only one thing. Become a two-gil spy. Thich Lu frankly made an utopian offer. Rumbling from the outside of the room, Min, who was guarding, suddenly heard a loud noise coming from the inside, where the 2 important people were meeting. What happened to him? From Ting, suddenly a cry for help. Someone save me. Jun-gu stepped on the door, feared out of the room. The president hurriedly blocked the way, asked Mr. Jun-gu. What happened? Jun-gu hurriedly. He had to leave immediately. Inside there was a crazy person, he gasped and said. The president heard that itchy. Perhaps. I am sorry. Inside the room, I just felt like Liu was standing. The president was even more worried. I will compensate for anything I can do, like Leo. Now, the whole room is broken. Obviously, this is the consequence from the battle between him and Eun-hai before. Just the president can know what in the heart of what is the end of. Maybe I looked wrong, like to say through the speaker. The president who listened to these words, here is nothing too valuable. But Mingu quickly said that he was not very normal. The president was interested in asking for compensation to say later he was fine, but he liked Liu. I was fine. I was okay. Thich Lu looked at Jun-gu, asked him not to be injured. Eun-hai trembled and answered me, I am okay. His face is really not acting. He is also extremely shocked in his heart. He dared to play such a game. Normally he did not lose control like this. Oh my god, finally everything is fine. Likes to get down. In my heart soon has its own covenant with Jian Eun-hai. He looked at the broken teapot, but said before we could drink a cup of tea. Both of them had a covenant. Talk seriously after. Unfortunately, we have to wait for another occasion. Answer us. What is the guards? Returning to the past a few hundred years ago. Thich Lu at that time was a newly appointed guards. The guard was the one who used the sword to protect others. From now on, you are only drawn to protect. If they are in danger, save them. Use their lives to protect them. Remember, consider the person you must protect more important than all, whether it is your life or your bodies. In addition, the one with something to protect will not easily die. Remember that. Thich Lu, the advice of the older guard, made the main character open and glared. His entire indicator was unexpectedly volatile. At this time, Thich Lu was lying on an iron bed, surrounded by countless scientists. His situation suddenly was unstable. He liked Liu. He was okay. Thich Lu sat up and answered that we had to do this longer. To the teeth to answer thanks to his cooperation. We had enough research materials. If he was tired, we could continue another time. Just do that, Thich Lu said while wearing a shirt. In his heart could not believe it. We have cared much enough to have such a dream. He thought we still had a promise to keep. More than half a day later, at a bakery, a girl with a standard body was standing. This girl is Eun-hai. He is late. Thich Lu, the person standing next to Eunhye wearing a hood, is the main character. The president has assigned one person. Eunhye wondered if he was being monitored, like to take off his hat. Answer now, I am fine. Sit down and go down. Sitting at the table, Eunhye continued to wonder if he did not see something unusual. He also did not have a penny. Why did I call so many drinks? I did not have anything rich. In front of Thich Lu was a pile of glass cups. I did not know how much water he had drank all the water. He read the papers and asked. I am the one who asked the new question. Ingok Lion, until the end we know the identity of that bastard. Ingok Lion is part of the family that we protect. I thought he had died in a previous incident, but he plotted to create treason. Yunai took a sip of tea and replied that he had too many secrets, must have a reason for him to wear a mask. I just wanted to follow the cherish, so I obeyed the command. I feared that he would not receive the answer as expected. Thich Lu continued. She and Ingok Lion were the only people from the past. As far as I knew, it was so. Even I was curious and learned, but there was no mention or trace of others. Where is Ingok Lion, and what Adu likes to ask. Currently he is abroad. Do not tell me just with this information. You are going to Azwim to see him. Eunhye annoyed. Ingok Lion was stronger than before. Before she could talk much, like Lu to stop. Where did he suddenly look? Eunhye saw that it was even more uncomfortable, because Thich Lu did not even listen to her, but he was looking at the street. Just seeing Liu being glared, the killing intent lifted up, because right outside the store is Ingok Lion. Director, what is wrong? A guy in a vest asked Ingok Lion. He smirked, just had an interesting thing. Ngolian smiled wryly. It was pitiful. Thich Lu immediately stood up, said. Eunhye was bewildered, not understanding what he was saying. I will add more conditions. Listen to Liu said so. Eunhye wondered what. After feeling his presence, I realized. Like Liu thought how pitiful and blind because of hatred. What is the most important thing for us? In the line of thinking, the silhouette of a girl appeared. Yes, if we both are here and even Ingok Lion, then it is not impossible. It is a top priority. Thich Lu told himself. Eunhye was still angry because he liked to save more conditions, no life. Continuing to recall, the words of the older guard seemed to be in the ears of Thich Lu, who had something to protect, would not easily die. Remember that. That is the iron rule of all guards. Thich Lu said his condition, we have to find my lady first. Eunhye heard this proposal, immediately asked, if you have any way to find her, I will have to try. This is not easy. I almost no longer remember her face. Do not worry about that. Thich Lu took out a pen. I served her for my whole life. I remember everything about her, saying, Thich Lu, and started sketching on a blank page. Oh, Eunhye admired the extremely good painting of Thich Lu. Transitioned to another place. At this time, a female student was holding an umbrella standing in the rain. She had curly hair into curls, along with a very lovely face. She turned her head back, asked him, looking for me. Behind this girl is another female student. This the one who appeared at the beginning of the story. Her face was a bit serious. This loudly, choice Seal. I told us that we should go together already. How could you leave without my manager? Seal laughed. Except for me, really okay? The other girl, increasingly frustrated, is a cunning kid. Although we are all students, he is no different from a star, where both are standing as an extremely large school campus. The other girl continued to say that he had another crazy fan club. Oh, Seal Angel, my life, beautiful. The beauty exploded. Even perverted fans wandered in scary. Why are you alone? So dangerous. A few days ago, there were people who sneaked in the corridor. How could I let people go alone? Seal almost rubbed it, really too terrible. The girl was reminding that. Did not see it. However, this girl is still uncomfortable, but I am still jealous whenever I can notice so much. Seal heard that, just know how to laugh. Seal transferred the listening topic. The interview in his hand River had a lot of views, sometimes was a good news. Both of these girls did not notice that someone was watching both. Turned out, the one who watched the two were the main characters in Eunhye. I thought it was her. Eunhye picked up the iPhone, exclaimed that it was not ashamed. This was quite special. It was a sign of information with everything. It was impressive when it also had the functions genuine. Thich Lu agreed with just a little effort. We had progressed. Honestly, Eunhye responded. I thought that we would have to plow all year. Inner silence. After watching her for a while, Thich Lu glared. Behold, suddenly there was an event appearing. Thich Lu glared at surprised. The Superman's umbrella fell to the ground. It turned out Seal and her classmate were blocked by two strangers. Her classmate was blocked by Seal, who shouted at who were the two men who ridiculed. Why did you run away? So I was wet. It was wet. Two guys, one fat, one thin. The rain appeared. Both wet. Both of them blankly explained, do not misunderstand us. We are Seal's fans. Just tomorrow we will enlist in the army. We cheered me very much when I had difficulties. Both of them hear these words and could only shiver. I could do this, right? The two men said and chipped up, looked extremely metamorphosis. What the hone is happening? Eunhye wondered. This is definitely not good at all. We keep observing it. Thich Lu is still observing, the eyebrows furrowed, partly because he is reminiscent. Dandelion. My lady, as small and fragile as a dandelion. She came from a wealthy family, but she often cried. Every time she was sick, she would be very sick. A person that we have to protect anytime, without hesitation, likes to jump down behind to pervert. At this time, Seal's friend was pushed by the other two. Avoid at the end. Finally hug he the fat guy, pulled Seal's arms into his lap. Leo told himself. He widened his eyes before the new incident. It seems that the image of the lady who won a harassment was recreated. At the moment, the other two perverted guys are also lying at the feet of the Superman's friend, just as if she likes to remember, she is absolutely weak. This asserts, she is my owner. Leo just stood far away, bowed, did not say no. The two girls who saw him opened their mouths. Seal slowly steps. Like Leo now speaks, I am sorry. I was too late, he implicitly, this is my lady. Today is very cold, please put this in. Like Leo does not hesitate, remove the jacket, he is definitely her. Suddenly, Seal's friend suddenly kicked her legs really strong, the rain was splashing. Ms. Tong straightened a hook on the belly of Leo. Maybe she was mistakenly liking Leo was the same with the other two perverted guys. Lady, Leo does not understand anything is happening. No doubt, this girl said a strange sentence for a long time, perhaps, really for a long time. Listening to these words, Leo stopped completely. Lady, the Superman's friend continued to say, you are also a crazy fan right here, not the lady. How could it be? Like Leo could not help but blurt out his mouth to think, I could not believe it. I am worried she lost her memory. Until now, the girl was surprised to collect my name. He was not a fan of Seal. No, intuition told Leo, not she lost memory. I am sorry, he had to say politely. He realized she was a bit different. I mistakenly accepted, he said through the speaker. This girl was another person. The girl who heard about it was embarrassed, bowed her head. I apologized. I was judged by myself. This child was still pondering. Suddenly the sound of people interrupted into Leo's thoughts. This name is a crazy fan. Please give us. The two young men from where to appear hurriedly clamped their necks, locked their hands. Leo, however, the best braces, both of them still do not like to move a centimeter. Not much gasping. Why are you so strong, Seal? Let him give us. I go away. Like Leo said, this child is just, they are my manager, but what they are doing. Seal spoke up. Her friends also explained that the two names lying on the ground were crazy fans. Not him. The other two heard that, so that this girl was just the appearance of the lady. Boy, stand up, Seal, I am okay. Two young men who resolve the two metamorphosis guys, do not forget to ask an idol. Seal urged to be so nosy, go quickly, but who that long-haired person is. Before leaving, Seal's friend was really curious about Leo's background. It looks like a person who has a lot of confession. The confession is very sad. The next morning a bird was perched on a tree branch. It smashed the wings soaring into the sky. The bottom was a piece of land. In the middle of this area there was a stone tomb. The two people who are appearing here are the main characters. Leo along with Ms. In Hai. What is this? Is the tomb where the lady is buried? Yun Hai commented it was worse than I thought. No. That it had become shabby. It seemed that it had passed a long time ago. This is information confirmed by the country's leading historian, introduced by the president. We have also verified through other sources. The lady of the Min family, according to the record, she died on the day of rebellion. In the grave there is also her belongings. While talking badly, suddenly Yunhai was startled. It turned out that Leo was kneeling to celebrate. At this time his mood was like a turbulent. So I like your face. As this I was the winner as if you were back at that time. Heard the words of the villain, and Gokline whispered into the ear. The action because he wanted to protect the law. The law ended up. He remembered the moment of listening to the instructions from the older guard. Next, he remembered the image of the lady who should have lived to the end. Do not know when Leo's fist has outlined a line extending on the ground. He claimed to take all his responsibilities on himself. The fire was so angry so he could not do it. He could not do it. He clenched his teeth to turn on the blood. The survival and facing people like this I hate myself extremely. Yunhai standing next to him also felt the pressure from Leo, as if the mountain of the river would rise. But now the lady is definitely dead. The child looks like a lady. Eunhai starts to calculate. Perhaps the story continues to move to the female student, Choi Soon's classmate. The girl appeared at the beginning of the story. The girl happily walked away, opened a door and cheered happily. Hello, the dandelion flower came here. Inside the room is empty. There is no shadow of no one here. The set go bankrupt. Huff. From the sofa, a young man was covering his face to sleep. What she was talking about. That was the bet. The beat continued even if I was the only employee. I never left. The girl just said but he slept here because he was kicked out of the hall. The beat it until now he removed the shirt. His face was extremely emaciated, responded not to mention what little things to do. His name was Imsidok, a CEO of Ste Entertainment Company. The company had only one employee. He lazily said that she came at the right time, cooked me a part of ramyeon. The girl sighed, I am the only artist in this company. I have not yet received a monumental debut anymore. The bet heard but did not put any words. Crawled up, hugged his neck. The beat could not help it, had to go to work by himself. Why did you act like this? You eat it, I do 2 parts. The girl is still annoyed without any news. I heard that the interview video was viral, and many places were seeking to contact. At this time, on the television, she was also showing her image interviewed when she discovered Thich Lu free. The beat advised to wait a while. Lately, everyone is crazy about that kid. He was about to avoid like the previous time. The girl was annoyed. The beat confirmed me seriously. The girl continues to ask may bet on the school will be faster. The teachers also evaluate well. Yes, I am Im Sadok here. The bait has a phone. Well, yes, okay, it seems that this phone call is good news. The beat answered extremely excited. The girl did not understand what he was. Turning off the phone, the beat turned to tell the girl Min Dunley, I grabbed a drama table meeting with XD production company. The girl was surprised. She exclaimed, so great. It was a huge manufacturing company. How she wanted to do it, Sea Snail asked her. Dunley was too much but could not hear it anymore. What else of course must go, transition to a popular pub, a flying fly on a bottle of wine. Dunley arrived. There's a little disappointment. Who interviewed in this place? They did not know they were teenagers, looking like the shop was open. Dunley is worried, trying to reassure himself. Is a big manufacturing company, so it is probably okay. So the new bet asked himself to come alone. From the end of the corridor, a young man poked his head out, waved to this side. While pouring wine, the opponent started to ask, so she was Min Dunley huh? The real name was beautiful. The representative of the company is 2 young men, one wearing a black-haired black vest, looks quite handsome. The other is a young bang, wearing a white shirt. Both constantly saying, oh, because the atmosphere is so good, I made a mistake, no need for pressure, just drink, but the water is self-service. Dunley is a bit wary of this as their welcome. The other 2 young men tried to reassure Dunley. No need to be nervous, see this as a meeting instead of interviewing. She drank less water, sweat began to pour out. This is a great opportunity. I have to do my best. She understood what I mean, right? Suddenly the voice stopped close to her ears. White-haired name did not know when he had approached Dunley. He whispered from now on to keep the relationship close to each other. He started to lure the sweetness. I knew that she had spent a difficult time. From now on she would work, earn money, and everything would be more convenient. Dunley felt something was wrong, right? It sounds good, he just said. The damaged hand began to reach the female lead's chest here. 2 monkeys. Dunley angrily threw his hand out. She stood up and tried to leave even if she gave the whole building. I could not do this. How did he dare? How did he dare? But life was not like a dream. She began to feel dizzy. 2 blue beards are satisfied. Drink an extra glass of wine. The first guy says the taste of the Cheel Seal is a bit different but doesn't need to take medicine. Dunley has anesthetic helpless body, trying to reach the door handle that cannot be anymore. She whispered to the bastard. The pea put things in the water. The other 2 men laughed and shouted, I dared to fish. You'd not expect the water to quit smoking. Ha! Everyone knows Sedok is played. Well, we are also playing fun. Why do you have to care? You are a little shallow. The white-haired guy, Chio, this time only revealed his fake face to call such a name while he was a senior. How? The first guy interrupted. Chian did not seem to be too interested in me. What was wrong? Now he must be laughing around while reading the script. As far as I know, this is the first job he earns after being kicked. But you do not hear it saying anything. These kids do not let go of the dream so easy. The 2 guys talk. What you mean? What else? I mean, we should take advantage of its dreams. Deal is now fainting, no longer knowing anything. The first name started to stand up. Call the report. We are doing smoothly. There is no problem. No, everything is going smoothly. I will quickly send the file through. The other end of the line is a mysterious character. Back to the presidential palace. Thichley is now standing at the night sky. He is thinking about the lady. Looking at the full moon, he thought all that I left was revenge. Like he said, once again this year's award will destroy his everything. And we will die together, just thinking, liking to save the air, so that the internal force runs throughout the body. You have a good place to live, a female voice rang. I remember that I had gained enough gas to you today. I like Liu indifferently. Anhai has just come, hearing that is not very happy. I am Star. I came because there was interesting news about Goklan Star. No. Then go away, like to chase away. Anhai must say more and hear it, because the girl looked like the lady but lost her memory. Even we realized because she looked very similar. So we wondered if there was any other ability, and searched for hundreds of books, and discovered one thing. That girl's name is Min Dunla. She also belongs to the Min family, like the lady. Yes, hearing here, Thich Liu also dimly guessed that Eunhai wanted to say, she is the descendant with the blood of the lady, so I started following her. The previous fly at the pub was also one of Eunhai's clones, through which she discovered Dunley is currently in a situation where urgent help. Like Liu exhaled a breath, that is why. Then he accidentally turned away, walked inside. You wasted time to do meaningless work. You thought I would do something, because she was the descendant of the lady, before entering the hall. He added, why do we have to, because for him that child is not a lady. Now Dunley is indeed in danger. Well, Eunhye clicked his tongue, ignoring. I even found her position. She suggested that, but it seemed like there was no effect on Thich Lu. Eunhye was a bit disappointed. Her heart began to restlessness. Through my phone, it seems like a new development. It was boring. Eunhye turned on the wall. I was looking for me. I went out a little bit. She used to use disdain, just answered the phone. No, nothing in her mind was still wondering about Thich Lu's job. She was meaningless to you, so you should have left her. It turned out Eunhye had left a piece of paper about Dunlee's position on Thich Lu's door. At this time, Thich Lu is also sitting and thinking in the dark. You are thinking. Thich Lu, in her memory, the image of the lady appeared again. She showed a mischievous smile to look at Thich Lu. Next is the memory of the two boats together. The lady teases him, oh, you can't stand upright, Lee. Next, once the two sheltered, this is the disaster that likes Lu Thee, and then the last memory, when she is hesitating not to run away, like Lu Yu at that time still have to scream the lady, who must go right away, no time, no time. Before leaving, the lady told Thich Lu to help me with a job. Whenever we turn to look, please, always there. She said this with a steadfast and confident eye. This gaze Dunley also inherited from her. This image just torn in Thich Lu's mind. No, like to save psychological struggle. On the desk there is a newspaper torn, with the image of Mingok Lion. Thich Lu is extremely hesitant. She is not her. Her name is Min Dunley. She has nothing to do with her. I do not need to take care of her. He is determined. I believe that she also has a guard. Transferred to the offices of the entertainment company. A new young man appeared, was introducing himself to the CEO. My name was because Biksu. I came here to interview as a manager. He was accepted. The speed of receiving the direct was too fast, making this Biksu too startled. Sidok asked in the record that he was confident enough to work as a family. I just needed it. Biksu awkward. You know I am new, right? Sidok immediately replied, answered. The director smiled from May. I will start teaching you. Feeling thank you. Biksu politely answered. Today you can come back. Yes, but truly cute. Biksu is honest. He is the only employee here. The director of his self-conversation slowly pulled out the phone. He dialed Dianlu's phone number, who was surprised to finish Dianli. The meeting was about to finish. The other end of the line immediately appeared on the number of Sidok. However, the person holding the phone was the director of white hair, Cheon. He was now full of blue veins, not listening to the phone and cursing something. He pointed to the mess in the room, then asked what happened when I went so bad. The new guy was sitting on the ground, not knowing how to answer. At this time, he was also hugging Batel Nut, apologizing to the bet. I was played by the dog. I was trying to touch my body, then it swung punched in my face. Chien sarcastically. He was angry and broke his table and reported what the police had to do. Calm, brother. His head tried to fight fire. It is still high and even can't walk properly. He suggested it is definitely close. As he said, Danley was also nearby. His body was weak, so he had to be close to the wall to move, feeling like she was about to faint. If not to drop the phone, then I can hide somewhere. The police already, she encouraged herself, continuing, I have to continue walking. But the corridor was always so long. It turned out she was still moving in the corridor, where it was endless to endlessness. At this time, I have to hurry up. I heard their legs already. From behind, the two flames are also immediately chasing. Yet, Danley's footsteps could not be faster. Please, move away. I have to get out of here. I just need to open this door. Clean. Danley slipped away from the door. Summarized the dog. The two men caught her. How dare you run, this dog? The new guy is about to retaliate against Danley. Then the other guy stopped leaving anyway. I lost the interest in eating already. Danley now can only be helpless. Heard the other two talking. Chien looked down at her mental power was also experienced. Could be here to come here. My cheeks, something unknown. Enlisted quickly. The two started dragging Dunley, the dog's mother, waiting for the time to come. I would show you the scene. Open but drilling, new ground fluttering. Who knows you have a brain shock or anything. Both of them feel something is wrong. Auntie, the ground shook really. The first guy confirmed his feeling was right. By this time, the whole area shook like an earthquake. Chien did not believe it, had to believe it. Was the earthquake, saw it, I said it. The two guys panicked. Dunley tried to open his eyes to see what was wrong. The power was out, the restaurant's light was off, so that it was unlucky. The two men complained. So they could not go to this direction. Just to go to this direction, the destination in front of why the door is open. No one came. She did not know. The other two men did not know. The back of the three had appeared a character. Thich Lu clamped on his finger is the piece of paper that Eunhye left. The address of this place, back a few minutes ago. Why, like Liu took the piece of message and read, I could not understand. I could not leave her, so he thought, I can pretend not know. So why did I come here, go to the pub where Deal was in distress? Thinking back, the answer is simple. This is a good deed. Thich Lu began to speak up her out. Gently, the deep words made both the other guys chilled his spine. Thich Lu told himself so. Simply that. Qian lifted his eyebrows, turned his head to ask, did all his soul. Suddenly this guy jumped out. Thich Lu was still telling himself, because he was a human being, he could help others. Wait, why? The ground fluttered. Qian sweated. It seems that he now strings the incident likes to save, simply as doing good deeds. He gently swung one hand, threw Qian away. He even hit the wall like a table tennis. Do not hear me say, the first time I saw my being hit, the sweat was full of forehead. Thich Lu was still full of though he thought so. But Thich Lu leaned forward. His voice threatened to say he released her. Gently, even though he was doing good deeds, but Thich Lu did not understand why he was so angry. This was so angry. He glared at the new head. He saw that the cross-section had no drops of blood. Running and urinating, sweating like streams. I look wrong. He threw people like throwing the ball. The director Qian was now unconscious. Stop, faint. The first guy stammered, hurriedly pressed the car. It was not until the car soared and then shouted out loudly, swearing, having to get out of here. Suddenly, two front wheels of the car he was lifted. Next, the car followed the gravity falling down. The components cried on the teeth. I did not say. The voice of Hung then rang again, making the head of the face that you can go. Blocking the front of the car is like Lu. The girl did not wake up as if she had been given medicine, like Liu. She kept saying, and the new head tried to run away, opened the car door and burst out crawling out, because his legs were trembling and could not stand up anymore. It seems that you are not able to answer me, like Liu coldly said. Should I kill you? His gentle voice comes with internal strength, emitting shock, pushing the whole car. I asked again, you have poisoned her, head poisoning, forever new to falter a few sentences, like Liu grinding teeth, so you still have not wake up. Delivery immediately. Thich Lu slowly came. Toy tried to scream on the drill, not, she was just a little bit of medicine, just let me silent like that she would wake up. Thich Lu stepped on his hand, the sound of the broken hand bone rang out. If you lie, I will break your neck, he threatens him. If you understand, then go away from me. Finished. He turned away, leaving the first guy crying without tears, hugging his hand. The other side, in short, suddenly from anywhere, 5 people wearing vests ran to run. The first guy also looked at what else. Copy one last person seemed to be the bet walked. This mustache man did not look down. Told the first time we were the security team sent to emergency. If you do not want to be involved, then go away. My head is curious. Yes, but what is wrong? What happened? Min Danli, the men's vest stopped before Thich Lu with Dian Li and called her name. The mustache looked down. Ordered now we will take this child. Who are you? You do not need to know. Mustache very high attitude. Answer Thich Lu, handing her out right away. Otherwise we will be forced to use force. He threatens, likes to be afraid of using force. I will not stand still. What, who you are? The mustache heard that more and more questions. You ask who I am, like Liu indifferently. He recalled the memory of her first time on the rainy day. He picked Danla for helping her, he claimed. He stood in the middle of a group wearing a vest, thinking that he needed to be responsible for her. Only today, like Liu Bei, I am the manager of this girl. Yes, the beginning is now answering the phone. I am very disappointed. The other end of the rope said. The head trembled. Oh. I am sorry they are here. The end of this string continues. The bodyguard I sent through there. The black shirts were from Bao and TK Seller. There is a third person to intervene and well, who is that? The other asked. The new head did not know how to explain why. That is, the black shirt now surrounded Thich Lu. Thich Lu also answered that we were the manager of this child. The other person heard that. Then the manager was, there was no information that it was managed. A black shirt stepped up, suggesting so prove that he was the manager of the little girl. If we could not prove it, we would take that child. If so, why do not you prove it yourself so that we can hand this child to you? Like to reply, I really do not like their faces. Moreover, we cannot let a person unconscious with others. If he was stubborn, the black man took off his buttons, prepared to do something like to click his tongue trouble, here. So I used to use to force acting ahead of words. He threw a pan forward, unexpectedly liked Liu to avoid it in time. There was no other way. Thich Lu sighed. His right hand turned into attorney, gently hit attorney on the side of the other guy. The other guy is like a sandbag that is thrown away. Likes to save aesthetics better than to leave here. The guy was hit immediately unconscious. To Thich Lu was a bit too much, not too much, not. The mustache did not fear, ordered something to manage. Nonsense. And what to do there, what to do, let him know his hand, withdraw. A crowd of black shirts rushed to attack Thich Lu, but these crowds are no different from the president's troops, like to lighten gently through all of them, the right to return these ill-fated people, on the pillow, elbow, take hands, elbow. This broadcast is aimed at the chin of the mustache commander. In an instant, the black shirts standing next to them were lying on the ground. Thich Lu kept gently walking. Sorry, he sarcastically said. Who doubted? The black shirt continued to stand up. Must be serious. The mustache removed the outer layer. Thich suddenly felt this feeling of internal feeling. Please ask. Dunli speaks. Yeah. Why are you here? She woke up. Thich smiled and woke up in time. You know them? He asked. Dunli just saw it was jerky rancid. Who are you guys? Her eyes are round, not seems to be false. Thich only waited for that. The internal force began to surge. He told him to close his eyes a little. Dunli also felt the hot person. What was this? The mustache also felt wrong, ordered the bothered subordinates here, handled that guy first, then hit the girl, and then took away counted to 3 and rushed in. An instant, the whole crowd saw the sky and earth turn back. Thich had acted and took the other people to the sky. Where to put it, he muttered. Dunli bewildered. Put something she was admiring. Wow. Thich replied to her. Dunli was admiring him terribly strong, small, transferring to an entertainment company. Dunli is being asked by director Sidok, so she had experienced all that, right? Dunli answered sadly. The fool, the director did not show it, but he was blaming himself. I was too subjective, neglected is just because it was a big company. I should not let her go alone. The disciple, even though she was still fine, but surely she was very shocked, saw his face again. Dunla worried, bet, Sidok. Sidok is still feeling at fault that it is a good opportunity. But I am so stupid, almost happened, yes. That is right. Suddenly, Dunli showed interest. He walked out the door, frowned, the blue veins emerged. He gritted his teeth to kill those bastards. They were the one who passed the boundaries first. Dunli asked Mr. Din to fight with that big company. I want to expose them to the world. Dunli's words are hesitant, but we are too weak, she said sadly. Not this is a world that no matter how we scream and fight, then we are only the loser. So please do not go. Do not start a meaningless match. You understand what I said, right? Dunli advised, wait for later fighting with them and force them to pay the price. But now, I would like to thank you in advance, Dunli said with a fresh face. Covering my previous fatigue, she pushed the director into his room as an adult, so he knew what to do first, right? Sidok bewildered. Yeah. We owe him. He thanked Thich, who was drinking coffee in the middle of the room. The director scratched his head, asked her better than me. No matter how older, but I could repay him. Like take a sip of coffee. Then answer that I did not expect to get anything back. So let me add this. The sweetness was really delicious. Very delicious. Dunla walked to the side, happily suggested Bet. This person is really good at fighting. I think it would be great if there was a manager like him. It is coincidentally, right? Is not it at that time he mistook me to anyone else? Maybe she is very pretty, Dunla said. Liu disappointed and shook his head and shallow. I really assessed her wrongly. Waiting Sidok spoke up to surprise Dunla. What is the director who started analyzing what he did? If he had to say I was unemployed, like to falter, did not know how to say, the director replied that I could see it. Dunli secretly complained, no life. He was in the picture as perfect. The director used his hand to form a photo frame shining on the couple Thich and Dunli. Do you want to be a manager? He asks. In fact, Dunli is just joking and this guy will be his manager. Really, congratulations. Dunli is a very good manufacturing company. Seal put his hand on Dunli's shoulder, rang out of course. Seal shook the roll of Dunla, then chirping. I was so proud, so it was where he said he would go to the meeting, but I did not think he would succeed like this. What are you talking about? Dunli exclaimed that I did not tell Seal. I was so dizzy. Dunli staggered away from Seal's arms. Sorry. Dunli was still hiding. He would surely cry all tears. Dayanli changes the topic if you feel at fault. Please help me with something. Is there any tips to choose the role? Or some secrets in the profession? Ha. Well, it is not too much. Seeing that scene said nothing. Dayanli worried about asking me a bit deep. No, Xoin shook his head vigorously, indeed an angel. Just ask me, did not finish the sentence. Xoin was pushed by someone. The other person scolded so much. You were blocking that way. Dunal realized who that girl was again. Jay, the newcomer, is a group of 3 girls dressed in a sassy, a short-haired girl who owns the group, 2 people next to a brown hair. Choishin pretended to be a cute child in the countryside and fake morality. It is true that this short-haired girl is Alzanaran. A muscular young man appeared after Jin Iron. This summer, the high school students, who was the fake moral man, would he want to taste the bitterness of the spread of false information? What blonde girl responded, beer? Jin Iron turned to speak. Let us say it. Truly troublesome. Her mouth. Just like that, the 3 girls left. The other young man seemed to be the manager of choice soon. She also told Dunla now better than to have a manager. Not only for situations like this, but also for many other reasons. She also said no, meaning that not only could it be a manager, but need to choose a reliable person. In a way, he should be the most reliable person. Hearing here, Dunli smiled. A reliable person. She thought of Lee Simbi also meant 0 at this time. On a skyscraper tower, surrounded quietly like sheets. She was late, Thich said. Unhai had just appeared. Seemingly annoying not to see me as a slave. I also had my own work. Like to ask again. What? I do not need to report my private life. Right, Inhai broke out what he called me to do, explain the role of an artist manager, like to ask. Manage is the manager that I know. Anhai heard but bewildered why he naturally curious about this. If it was a manager, she began to explain. Then it was a job related to managing the status, schedules, and different negotiations of celebrities. In short, the guardian sounds like a guardian. Yes, you are right. Now let me know the reason. Thich Liu also did not hide me to have a job. Manager of Dunli, Sako, Unhai panicked. This little guy, I know this will happen. He finally changed his mind. Why? Unhai loudly, it is shameless. Honestly, we know a little bit through Min Dunli. Transferred to the mustache. The head of the black people surrounded Dunli before. The mission failed, the bot asked. He lowered his voice, tried to apologize to the captain. He was not ordinary people. Not ordinary people. The beat stood up from the hot bath, revealing a robust body, smoking. When helping her, I fought with some names on the side. Thich Liu was also talking about this incident. They are completely different from modern people. Despite being hit by gas, they still stood up and rebuilt the fighting spirit. Rumbling the other side, the bet launched a powerful punch. What is wrong? He shouted. The mustache was hit by a punch on the wall, cracked a large wall. You guys are not normal people. It was a shame. Do you know how important this task is to us? The beat scolded. This is something we absolutely cannot let the mistake. He began to approach the mustache. Although we are familiar with the people here should never go through new, right? Like to think, this is the present. The beat did not expect to be able to step on the water. Where there is no gas, martial arts, he uses disdain. Walking light is not. Long hair, the bite with short wet hair, extremely uncomfortable face. However, having to meet to see who he was, this beat sternly. The inner strength of the body gradually evaporated, and liked Lu Tu to assert that we could feel the gas from them.